President Buhari admits economic security challenges as Nigeria celebrates 60th independence anniversary. 4 persons die in Kano auto crash. In international news, China celebrates National Day. And in sport, Serena Williams withdraw from French Open.
This is ANN News.
I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Nigeria is 60 today. In an early morning nationwide broadcast, President Muhammadu Buhari acknowledged the economic and security challenges currently facing the country. In the broadcast message, the president lauded his leadership, stating his administration has achieved much with few resources. Buhari also criticized past administrations, including former presidents Olusegun Obasanjo, late Umar Yar'Adua, and Goodluck Jonathan, who were in charge of the country from 1999 to 2015. He said they did not accomplish what his regime has done with scarce resources. President Buhari also said for Nigeria to succeed, a responsible government must face realities and take tough decisions. The federal government, along with state governments, observed low-key celebrations. Many demonstrators violated the no-parade rules were arrested in some states, including Lagos. 4 persons were confirmed killed in an auto crash in Kano on Wednesday when a car ran into a tricycle, pushing it to the curb. 4 persons, including 2 hawkers, were killed in the mishap. Kano State Corps Commander Zubairu Matu said the bodies of the deceased were taken to the mortuary. Nigeria's total number of COVID-19 cases has now reached 58,848. Nigeria's Center for Disease Control reports 201 new infections were recorded in 13 states on Wednesday. More than 50,000 of those infected have recovered and have been discharged, but there are still 7,000 active cases in the country. So far, one death was recorded from the virus on Wednesday. 1,112 fatalities have been registered as a result of the pandemic. Lagos topped 77 of the new cases, Rivers 37, Plateau 25, FCT 13, Kaduna and Ogun states each had 12 cases. Thousands of startups are springing up all over the country. In Niger Delta alone, more than 5,000 entrepreneurs are raising IT hubs that offer help in providing workspace, seed funding, mentoring, and training as more entrepreneurs with wonderful ideas risk failure. Correspondent Dejibad was visited one of the collaborative groups in Port Harcourt that is helping startups bring their dreams to reality.
With a community of over 5,000 budding entrepreneurs and 200 founders of startups, #Startup South is evolving a new wave of entrepreneurship in the region of Nigeria where startups are not common and hardly thrive. From this hub in the city of Port Harcourt, in the heart of the Niger Delta region of the country, the convener of the startup ecosystem, Uche Aniche, and his team are literally bringing entrepreneurship dreams to reality. They're providing founders of startups with the very essential skills they need to set out and scale.
So we're making it possible for these young people to find, first and foremost, find themselves, network among themselves, learn the ropes in building high-skill, innovative businesses, and then go on to get support from angel investors and other support organizations that would help them grow their businesses.
Nigeria's oil wealth comes from its Delta region, but the area also has among the highest rate of youth unemployment in the country. #Startup South is hoping to develop a pool of young homegrown entrepreneurs as a means of solving the unemployment crisis in the region.
We have been able to support and help founders within our network raise over $500,000. This is something that was unthinkable when we started. If not for COVID-19, we were actually on course to hit the $1 million mark in terms of investment fund that our founders have been able to access.
Thanks to the efforts of the startup ecosystem, the number of thriving startups in Nigeria's South and Southeast regions is growing. One of them is this palm oil milling startup KR Foods. With mentoring and funding from #Startup South, the founder is now running a thriving enterprise and currently working with 25 farmers who are his primary suppliers.
We do about 1,000 bottles weekly, and with the funding we have secured from Startup South, we are looking to expand our capacity to 15,000 bottles monthly. So, and from there, we are looking at about 150,000 bottles over the next 2 years.
Our goal is that by the end of 2022, we should have done over $5 million in investment in funds that our founders have been able to access. We want to be able to grow the community to at least 10,000 strong.
In 2018, #Startup South collaborated with other ecosystem leaders, bringing different professionals from different industries from across the world to start an angel network. That network has now grown to 27 persons who are supporting and investing in startups founded by young people in the regions.
Coming up, African stories. Women land ownership on the rise in South Africa. And later, international news. China celebrates National Day.
You are watching ANN.
Whether in your house, at your office, on your phone or online, we are there. We have the facts behind the headlines. We cut to the chase with the news you really need. We cover every angle. We are the bigger, better news network. We are African News Network. ANN. Watch ANN News on MITV from a truly African spirit.
Welcome back. This is ANN News. The Mozambican Health Ministry has told all companies and institutions in the capital, Maputo, to set up isolation rooms within their premises for holding people suspected to have contracted coronavirus. Firms have also been told to set up COVID-19 Management's Institutional Commission to manage suspected and confirmed cases of COVID-19 and to keep in contact with health authorities. The commissions will include people trained on how to handle the disease. The country has lately witnessed a steady increase in the number of COVID-19 cases, particularly in the capital, Maputo. Nearly 137,000 persons have been tested for coronavirus so far, with almost 8,600 confirmed cases. There have been 59 deaths and more than 5,200 recoveries. Malawi wants to tap into Zimbabwe's irrigation technology it believes would help with its agro-based economy. The country's foreign minister says Malawi would be interested in working with a Zimbabwean irrigation company to learn about infrastructure for small and large-scale farmers.
led by the visiting Malawian Foreign Affairs Minister Esnuandua Mukaka, a delegation comprising Zimbabwe's Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs and International Trade, Honorable David Msabayana, and Ambassador Designate Nancy Saongwema, toured the Rua-based irrigation company this Tuesday to get an appreciation of how Zimbabwe's irrigation policy is being implemented.
I think I've just been shown the pieces of equipment that are working perfectly well, locally assembled, but doing the job perfectly. So this is what we are trying to promote. You know, Malawi and Zimbabwe have got one thing in common. They are agrarian economies, and if we are to improve the lives of our people, what we need to do is to make sure that we are producing effectively and efficiently.
The irrigation company's chief executive, Mr. Innocent Swanda, said the visit by the Malawian delegation dovetails with the Zimbabwe is open for business thrust.
We are making sure that our farmers are able to irrigate and we are able to fight the climate change so that our farming is climate proofed. And that's what makes MACA different, because we are local and we are looking at local solutions to make sure that Southern Africa is irrigating the best way it can.
The visit by the Malawian Foreign Affairs Minister comes ahead of a tour of duty by Malawi President Dr. Lazarus Chakwera this Wednesday. 10 Time Munengwa, ZBC News, Harare.
There is a new trend in South Africa. More women now own lands in the country, a departure from what was the norm.
Vegetable farmer Mntwisi Monyane owns an 8.5-hectare plot in the northwest. She's among just 13% of women who've been able to acquire farming land in South Africa.
My journey into land ownership, it started with my ex-husband and I buying this land to do certain things on it, and that's how then I ended up now owning this. I farm here and I stay here, and I would really love to create it more of a lifestyle, you know, as well as farming.
Black women were for a long time barred from property ownership under a combination of apartheid and customary laws. That changed since the dawn of democracy in 1994.
The government really has put measures in place for women to be given preference, especially those that are really working very hard, even though in some instances it's not on an ownership basis, it's on a lease basis, but that is happening even in the tribal communities or tribal authorities. The chiefs are also a little bit, relaxed when it comes to that.
Land ownership is a symbol of power and status and allows women to be part of the economy.
I'm happy to be in a country where there is that freedom or liberty to own, if you have to. As a woman, you build your credit record, you can go anywhere. You can knock at any door. It doesn't matter whether female or whatever that you build for yourself, yes, it will either impact you negatively or positively.
Mntwisi's journey was easy compared to others. Some are still subject to unfair customary and commercial practices.
Finance is a huge challenge, obviously, because most women are stay-at-home moms and they still want to do their own thing. By the time you want to get into farming, you need to have built a financial profile to some extent. But if you haven't really been working and really depending on your spouse to bring the bacon home, the banks are not going to look at you, obviously, and give you the land.
According to the 2018 General Household Survey, the makeup of land ownership is changing. An increasing number of women are taking over the role of breadwinners, and more females are buying property than men.
When we return, international news. China celebrates National Day. And later, sports. Serena Williams withdraw from French Open.
You are watching ANN. Somewhere in the world, every second of the day, news is happening. And of course, Nigeria is bustling with news day and night. That is why ANN doesn't sleep. Our eyes are peeled, wide open, so no story escapes our radar. We stay abreast of world events and happenings at home. We keep you up to the minute in the world of sports. We give you information to stay on top of your investments and all the hard facts you'll need to navigate your day. If you miss us on air, you can keep up to date on our website and on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. We are ANN, African News Network. We do news right in a truly African spirit.
Welcome back. This is ANN News. Israel entered its second lockdown a week ago. It's the first country in the world to reimpose a nationwide lockdown because of a dramatic increase in coronavirus cases. As correspondent Stephanie Fried reports from Tel Aviv, rising coronavirus cases are overwhelming Israeli hospitals.
Maximum occupancy, patients lining the corridors. Increasingly, this is the new normal in Israel's overloaded hospitals. The country's COVID-19 cases are hitting record high numbers. The government's response? A countrywide lockdown.
A growing number of medical and science experts say Israel's lockdown is unnecessary and will be ineffective. Inside the hospital wards, the physicians tell a different story.
Hospital occupancy is beyond 100% capacity.
It's not rare to see ambulances with COVID-19 patients waiting outside of the ED, and there's no room for them. They are many times waiting for 1 hour, 2 hours until we can receive them.
The scramble to expand coronavirus treatment is on. The internal medicine wing converted 3 of its departments to COVID-19 wards. The ICU is also being converted.
If you ask me whether I'm on the brink of falling into the black hole or inside it, we're already inside it.
The biggest concern isn't bed or equipment shortages.
What we are lacking right now is personnel, nurses and physicians. That is the main issue right now in our ED and in Israel.
This hospital staff is down by 10%. Most are in quarantine after either contracting COVID-19 or coming into direct contact with an infected person. Those not in quarantine have been working around the clock since March and are increasingly collapsing from fatigue. Israel's health ministry director warns the system is facing a state of emergency.
Germany's new coronavirus tracking app has been downloaded millions of times. Scientists say the app can warn contacts of infected persons faster than was previously possible. But as correspondent Samir Alberti reports, effectiveness of the app is questionable.
This is the Corona Warn app, Germany's trace and track smartphone software. It's been 100 days since it's been launched, and it has been downloaded more than 18 million times. That's more than other similar apps across Europe combined. And that's why the German government says it's a success, but its actual effectiveness is questionable. Because of data privacy concerns, the tracing information is not sent to health authorities automatically, meaning if I get COVID-19, the government won't know who I've been in contact with, and so it's almost impossible to track potential outbreaks. So far, only 5,000 people have used the app after testing positive, and most of the people we've talked to here say they've never even used it.
No, I didn't even know that there's a Corona.
Well, I haven't got the app, and I haven't seen any benefit to doing that at this stage, so it's not something I've considered yet.
I do have it on my phone, and from day to day I go on the app and see if something happened, but nothing happened yet.
The app also has technical issues. For example, it doesn't work with some operating systems, and the tracing software during public transport has glitches precisely when the risk of infection is greater. But the developers say that the app is being constantly improved, and the government is adamant that this is a fundamental tool in controlling the pandemic, especially as the number of infections in Germany keep rising.
Celebrations continue in China for the 71st anniversary of the founding of the People's Republic. This year, there were many events, including large shows in many cities. There was also the raising of the flag in Beijing.
Morning at Beijing's Tiananmen Square. 96 members of the Chinese People's Liberation Army's Guard of Honor escort the national flag. As the military band plays the national anthem, the national flag rises. On China's National Day, thousands of people, many of whom have traveled long distances, have gathered at the center of the capital to witness the ceremony. Flag-raising activities are also held in other cities around China. In Hong Kong, Chief Executive Carrie Lam attended the ceremony at Golden Bauhinia Square. In Macau, Chief Executive Ho Yet-sung was present. This year, Golden Week lasts 8 days, as National Day and the Mid-Autumn Festival fall on the same day. Domestic tourism is expected to get a boost. Railway authorities expect an average of over 9 million passenger trips per day, totaling at least 108 million trips from September 28th to October 8th. The National Day rush alone on October 1st will see about 13 million trips, a post-lockdown record. Domestic civil aviation is expected to see more than 1.6 million trips, basically the same as last October 1st.
Up next, sports. Serena Williams withdraw from French Open. Please stay with us.
You are watching ANN.
Whether in your house, at your office, on your phone or online, we are there. We have the facts behind the headlines. We cut to the chase with the news you really need. We cover every angle. We are the bigger, better news network. We are African News Network. ANN. Watch ANN News on MITV from a truly African spirit.
Welcome back. This is ANN News. In sport, 39-year-old tennis champion Serena Williams has withdrawn from the French Open because of an Achilles injury. Williams had been scheduled to play her second-round match against Bulgaria's Tatjana Pirokova. The American has won 23 Grand Slam titles and was aiming to equal Margaret Court's all-time record of 24. Reports say Serena has been struggling to walk because of the injury. Williams picked up the Achilles problem during her U.S. Open semi-final defeat by Victoria Azarenka earlier this month. Spanish authorities say Paris Saint-Germain forward Neymar owes $34 million in unpaid tax. Authorities say this is more than any other individual on a Spanish authorities' tax debt blacklist. The Spanish press earlier reported the authority was pursuing Neymar for fiscal fraud dating back to his time at Barcelona. That is ANN News this evening. Thank you for joining us. For details on these and all the breaking stories, visit our website, annafrica.news. Conversation continues on our social media platforms, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at ANN Africa TV. I am Olajumoke Olatunji. Have a pleasant evening.